When you're in a relationship, have you ever thought about how you can improve yourself the most? It's a natural question to ask because at our core, we all want to feel loved, respected, and appreciated. However, what is the best way to accomplish this? How do we become highly esteemed? Not for our outward appearance, but for the essence of our being. Think of each relationship as a journey, and you are the one doing the exploring. You yearn to discover and impart the profound wisdom housed within your soul. However, in order to accomplish that, you must have a roadmap that leads to comprehension, intimacy, and, at last, love. Using 9 timeless teachings from Stoicism, I will show you how to find your worth in a relationship. So, listen up. What you are about to hear is not just hollow counsel. It's about finding ways to empower yourself that you might not have thought of before. Prepare to unveil the secrets to a life well lived, characterized by genuine connections based on trust, understanding, and compassion. All right then, I will begin. Realizing your own value is the first lesson. Knowing your worth in relationships begs the question, how does Stoicism fit into this? The Stoics taught us to be mindful of our controllables. And you know what? Your sense of self-worth is totally up to you. It has nothing to do with the amount of attention you receive on social media or the number of likes you receive. The key is to have a positive self-image. Envision yourself as a precious gemstone. The value of a rare diamond is not immediately apparent to everyone. The gem's worth remains unaffected even if passers-by fail to see its importance. To this day, it is priceless, unique, and extremely rare. There you are. Not everyone will see your worth, but that doesn't mean it goes down. Even if it seems like everyone is succeeding these days, we've all felt inadequate and suffered rejection. But let me tell you the truth from a Stoic point of view. Nobody else's approval is necessary for your worth. It has to do with your character, your values, and your actions. Can you empathize with others? Then tell me the truth. Is the way you live reflecting your principles? Your true value is found there. Introspection was central to Stoic philosophy. Take a time to reflect on your unique qualities, not only the more surface-level ones, but also the more profound ones that make you stand apart. How would people describe you? Sympathetic, independent, and trustworthy. You are fundamentally valuable because of these traits. The secret is right here. Your approach to relationships changes once you grasp and value these attributes. Not because you're conceited, but because you value yourself highly. You won't tolerate foolishness. Consider this a basic Stoic exercise. Instead of allowing self-doubt to consume you, the next time you feel undervalued, consider what strengths and principles you can contribute. Keep those in mind. The point is not to boast. It's about silently recognizing your own worth, regardless of what others think. You can only manage your thoughts, not the world around you, as the famous Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius put it. Acknowledge this, and you will discover fortitude. So, whether other people acknowledge your worth or not, being strong in your own value and self-worth is the most important thing in relationships. Knowing your value isn't a one-and-done deal. It's an ongoing process. One that changes as time goes on. It's about recognizing your worth every morning, not based on what other people think, but on the qualities that make you unique. The second lesson is to always look your best. Now, I'd like to put the record straight before you see a Stoic as this archaic, grim character. Being emotionless or uncaring is not what Stoicism is all about. Learning to focus your efforts where they will do the most good is the key. Oh, and the best part? Your energy should be directed towards how you show yourself. So, let's talk about how to carry yourself with grace. Therefore, I propose we begin with an easy question. The key to a dignified relationship is knowing how to present yourself. Sometimes we put on an act to win someone over, but in the process, we forget who we really are. In an effort to fit in, we alter our facial expressions, our speech patterns, and our clothing. Here, though, is the meat of the matter, and it is here that our level-headed wisdom and perspective shine. What matters most for your sense of self-worth is not what you wear or where you hang out. Your actions, choices, and public persona are all part of it. Envision yourself as an observer in a classroom, watching while two students deliver presentations. In an effort to wow the crowd, one student uses dramatic gestures and over-the-top language, while the other maintains composure and talks with natural assurance. In your opinion, which pupil leaves the most impression? True believers are usually the ones that are most at ease with themselves, aren't they? The significance of carrying oneself with grace is emphasized here. The importance of leading an honest life and valuing oneself was highlighted by the Stoics, who were renowned for their philosophy of virtue and self-control. When it comes to modern dating, how does this work? The process is simple. Stay true to who you are. If you love losing yourself in a book, then do it. Express yourself fully if you're deeply committed to something. The point is not to act a certain way. It's about being comfortable and confident in your own skin, knowing that you're valued in and of yourself. Also, remember to be kind to yourself. That goes without saying. People will treat you according to the standard you set for yourself. Constantly being hard on yourself sends the message that it's okay for other people to be just as critical. A strong message is made, however, when one honors oneself by valuing one's time, energy, and emotions. Everyone should treat me with the dignity that I am due. The important thing is not what occurs to you, but how you respond to it, as the wise Stoic philosopher Epictetus said. Relationship success depends on more than just how you come across. It also depends on how you react and act in different scenarios. Are you responding with grace or despair? Do you want to fit in, or are you willing to stand firm on your values no matter what? No need for flawless execution here. As flawed human beings, we all have uncomfortable moments. The important thing is how you handle those situations. When faced with adversity, do you crumble or persevere? Let us pause for a second and think. How can we start treating ourselves with more respect? One way to do this is to refuse to do or accept things that don't align with our ideals. It could also entail being kinder and more respectful to ourselves. Others will start to treat you with the respect you deserve once you start to see it in yourself. Mastering nonverbal cues is the subject of the third lesson. I know this may come out as rigid or traditional at first, but I need you to give me a chance to explain myself. Being approachable is not the issue. Recognizing your value and treating yourself with respect are key. So, how does Stoicism address this matter? Not in a stuffy or regimented sense, but Stoicism teaches us self-control and strength. Real success comes from knowing what you value and holding on to it tightly. Stoicism is refreshing in a society when we need instant gratification and scroll aimlessly. Let's give it some thought. When we're new to someone or just starting to know them, we tend to rush into sharing our lives with them. However, the Stoics would advise pausing. Why? Something loses its uniqueness when it is always accessible. Humans are simply like this. Where is the thrill, the intrigue, and the anticipation if you're always there whenever someone needs you and agree to do anything? In the spirit of Stoicism, let us discuss the art of politely establishing limits. The first thing that matters is how you look. There is more to dressing modestly and tastefully than meets the eye. It conveys information. It shows that I value and honor myself. You're not trying to hide anything, but you're also being vague. It's about striking a balance, showing that I'm more than meets the eye. Time and focus management is another important factor. Choosing carefully who gets your attention matters in today's always-on society. It has nothing to do with entertainment. It's a way of saying that I value my time highly and give careful consideration to how I use it. Show complete involvement and attentiveness when you're with another person. But it's all right to be unavailable when you're not. Investing time and effort into one's own life, hobbies, and growth. Stoicism also stresses the need of controlling one's emotions. Being distant or icy is not encouraged. It advocates, on the other hand, keeping a level head. One way to achieve this is to keep a level head no matter what. Maintaining calm and serenity within is the key. You can't afford to open up to everyone with your feelings. Like the way you choose which things to focus on, it should be something you earn. I don't mean for you to immobilize yourself emotionally like a statue. Sincere relationships are key to living a full life because we are all human. But there's an elegance to things moving at a steady pace, to building relationships that aren't predicated on quick fixes. Rather of focusing on short-term solutions, we should strive to build long-term, meaningful relationships. Remember that establishing boundaries isn't about being manipulative or playing games. Honoring yourself and being loyal to your values are key. It's about showing that you're worthy of respect and valuing oneself, not only verbally, but also in your actions. So here's to approaching relationships with a little more prudence, calmness, and stoicism. Finding the sweet spot between being too forthcoming and being too guarded, between giving and taking, is the key. It has a significant impact on how people see and interact with you, trust me. In today's dating landscape, here's to appreciating oneself and adopting a touch of stoicism. The fourth lesson is to be prepared to leave. A key tenet of stoicism is the idea of letting go, not in an emotionally detached or heartless way, but by realizing our own limitations and making do with what we have control over. The choice to remain in an unhealthy circumstance or to leave it is one of the strongest statements we can make about our agency. In romantic partnerships, this is of paramount importance. I think we can all relate to this. Just being where we are, knowing we should be better, but still deciding to stay. Perhaps it's the inability to let go of the belief that things will get better, the terror of being alone, or the fear of change. But stoicism comes into play here. The ability to choose whether to remain in or leave a situation that goes against our ideals is a source of true strength. Just because things get rough doesn't mean you should quit. It takes time, effort, and understanding to build a relationship. On the other hand, you must have a firm grasp on your values and self-worth so that you can let go of anything that radically goes against them. Having the inner strength and unwavering determination to say, I value myself too highly to accept anything less than what I am truly worthy of, is key. What do you think? Let's look into this more. Respecting yourself entails being ready to exit a situation. What this indicates is that you should stand firm for your beliefs and be confident in your worth. A grand departure isn't always necessary. There are moments when you just need to make a calm decision, when you realize this isn't the place for you. Indeed, it carries the potential to evoke dread. I get that it's scary to think about what the future holds. However, consider our unmoving friends. They taught us to be courageous in the face of adversity and to embrace the unknown as part of life. The most courageous thing to do at times is to let go of things that aren't guiding you in the right direction. This viewpoint has the power to change everything. You know you're in a relationship for the right reasons, not because you're scared to leave, and that changes everything. The entire dynamic is changed. You're not staying because you're scared or desperate. Staying here is a true reflection of your choice. Finally, the most important thing, the only way to make room for what helps you is to fearlessly let go of what doesn't. Getting ready to welcome the future is like clearing the clutter of the past. It's about trusting that greater things are ahead and allowing oneself the chance to find them. Being ready to move on does not mean being cold or unkind, so let us keep that in mind. Saying, I deserve something better, is a reflection of how much we care about and appreciate ourselves. Maintaining composure in the face of adversity is key, as is realizing that our worth is independent of external factors. The fifth lesson is on quietly establishing limits. According to Stoicism, deeds, not words, are what really matter. Setting boundaries in relationships is an area where the Stoics' need for demonstration, rather than merely articulating beliefs, becomes especially pertinent. Expressing your boundaries verbally isn't nearly as effective as really living up to them. Think about it. Saying, "I won't accept mistreatment," is simple. Actually, dealing with such behavior is the true challenge. Do you intend to stick to your limit, or are you willing to give in? Strength is not found in words, but in deeds. This isn't easy, and I get that. It becomes more difficult when feelings are involved. But remember what the Stoics said. What we do in response to events is entirely up to us. Your reaction, not merely your words, determines and enforces boundaries when someone crosses them. Consider a scenario where you hold honesty in high regard and someone deceives you. Your reaction in that situation reveals how seriously you take your boundaries. Your behavior shows how seriously you take your principles, whether you approach the problem calmly or opt to back down. Showing respect for yourself is responding in a way that is consistent with your beliefs. It's not about causing difficulty. Relationships can be significantly improved by adopting this technique. Your limits will be better understood by those around you when they see that you are not afraid to set and stick to them. Maintaining a healthy sense of self-respect is key. Allow me to take a simplistic approach as we explore a basic idea. Not only do the major moments matter, but so do the little ones. When someone doesn't appreciate you sufficiently, or when plans change suddenly, how do you handle it? Do you just shrug it off, or gently make it clear that you will not tolerate such behavior? Here is when being thoughtful and stoic becomes useful. It's all about being there and responding accordingly. Is what you're doing within your capabilities? Is your self-present being genuine? Pay attention to the small things, since that's usually when people push your limits the most. It would be wise to maintain an air of stoicism while communicating our limits to one another as we go about our daily lives and engage with others. It has nothing to do with being obstinate or uncompromising. It all comes down to having that compass within that determines our actions and reactions. People pay attention when you take this tack. Believe me, they start to see you as someone who is confident enough in themselves to set limits and then stick to them. The sixth lesson is that deeds are more telling than words. According to what we've been studying, Stoicism is all about being realistic. It implies taking people at their word and evaluating them according to their actions. A lot of people in our world are good talkers, but lack action takers. This holds truest in relational contexts. To ignore the allure and concentrate on deeds instead is the advice of the Stoics. The Stoics teach that we should focus on deeds rather than words, since deeds reveal reality. Take this into consideration. It's easy for someone to make faultless promises, describe an ideal future, and state exactly what they mean. Is what they say genuinely being done? Do their deeds back up what they say? You'll find the truth there. Forget about pretenses for a second. I thought we had all been there. When we meet someone special, they have the power to captivate us with their words. However, as time passes, their deeds no longer reflect their statements. Instead of calling, they say they will. We continue to believe them, even if they repeatedly back out of their plans right before they're supposed to happen. At this point, we need to summon our inner stoicism and let it guide us. The tenets of Stoicism teach us to resist the power of rhetoric and sentimentality. Being rational and having a clear vision of reality are key. A red flag appears when a person's behavior contradicts their statements. It's as if the cosmos is trying to tell us something is wrong. This way of thinking changes the way you deal with relationships. You start paying attention to the little things instead of getting carried away by promises and kind words. When put under duress, how do they act? Are their word commitments fulfilled? Do they show their support for you in practical ways as well as verbally? The interesting section is here. Setting a standard requires paying attention to people's actions as well as their words. What you're saying is that I'm observing your behavior in addition to what you say. That is incredibly significant. They come to terms with the fact that they can't merely use words to win you over. They need to demonstrate their authenticity before you can trust them. This isn't about being pessimistic or having doubts about everyone, though. It's about maintaining emotional stability with a dash of Stoic wisdom. That you should remain grounded in reality and not let your emotions get the best of you. Remember, it's the deeds, not the words, that matter. Because deeds speak louder than words, let us approach love with a level head, using reasoning, observation, and consideration. Part 7. How to be skeptical in a good way. You can't separate Stoicism from reality. Knowing things for what they really are, rather than as we would like them to be, was central to Stoic philosophy. When it comes to romantic relationships, this mindset is invaluable. I think we've all been there. People are quick to believe those who speak well to us, even if there are red flags that we ignore. A Stoic attitude can serve you well in this situation. Accurately being skeptical is like having superpowers. Being realistic and not taking things at face value is what it means, not being cynical or gloomy. It requires paying close attention, inquiring, and not jumping into things without thinking them through. Envision this. You meet a new person and they seem amazing. It's been brief, but they're already saying all the right things and even discussing a future together. You should ease up, wait to see if their deeds match their words, and watch how things develop according to your skeptical Stoic perspective. A simple reminder to stay grounded and alert in the face of romance, like a reality check. Being skeptical does not mean you have to question everything the other person does or ask them a million questions. Rather, it's about showing consideration. This necessitates paying attention to both their words and deeds. Taking the time to get to know someone means checking their honesty and consistency, reason and logic, rather than letting one's emotions dictate one's actions, were central to Stoic philosophy. This method is vital in romantic partnerships. When our emotions take over, we might not pay attention to the finer points. But we can see things more clearly when we mix our emotions with some skepticism and rational thought. And now for something else crucial. It's all about protecting your emotions. You may avoid jumping into something without fully knowing all the details if you keep an air of suspicion. You're giving yourself a chance to understand the other person for who they really are, not as an object of your fantasies. Therefore, let us not forget how crucial it is to embrace a modicum of Stoic skepticism. Being smart, paying attention, and controlling our emotions are key. It's about taking care of our mental and emotional health. It's not about being closed off, but rather about being wise and thoughtful as we approach new opportunities. Unit 8. Confidently declining an offer. The tenets of Stoicism stress the need of being courageous and loyal to one's principles. When it comes to relationships, this becomes extremely crucial when deciding to say no. Knowing what you believe and sticking to your expectations, no matter the cost, is what it means to be a realist. Picture this. You are in a committed relationship, and your significant other makes a proposal that makes you feel bad. Either it's asking you to do something that goes against your ideals, or it's moving too fast. Keeping a Stoic attitude is vital at this point, even when the easy option seems to go along with it. Respecting your boundaries, your convictions, and yourself is at the heart of saying no when faced with such challenges. This isn't going to be easy, let's be honest. Particularly if you have feelings for the person, it can be quite difficult. What if telling them no makes them go away? That tiny voice in your head keeps whispering, However, let me tell you something. Muster up our bravery, please. Stoicism encompasses more than just handling external matters. It is also about facing our inner demons directly. Honesty is key when it comes to saying no. It's a way to show that you value yourself and refuse to settle for less than what you're worth. A caveat is that it's not without risk. They could go missing if you don't. Nevertheless, let me highlight the crucial aspect. Maybe you weren't meant to be with that person if they withdraw when you refuse to do something that goes against your principles. The dynamics of a relationship can be drastically changed by adopting this strategy. Your character is transformed when others observe that you have no problem saying no and that you will not sacrifice your principles to satisfy their demands. It shows that you appreciate and respect yourself. That is, I must say, really enticing. Another Stoic viewpoint is this: establishing limits with other people isn't the only purpose of saying no. It's also important to be honest with oneself. It's about being honest about what you want out of a relationship and being firm about it. It's about staying true to who you are and not letting the fear of being alone influence your choices. Let's take a moment to think about this. As a group, let us declare that declining requests is not only acceptable, but necessary. It's all about being true to ourselves and living an honest life, as the Stoics stressed. The focus should be on building relationships based on genuine connection, mutual respect, and absence of fear or capitulation. Rule number 9. You can't chase value. This fits in nicely with everything we've been discussing, particularly when seen through the lens of Stoicism. The tenets of Stoicism tell us to focus on our power and let go of our fears. When we consider relationships, this idea becomes significantly more significant. Understanding that chasing after someone who isn't interested in us is pointless and contradictory to knowing and appreciating who we are is a profound realization. Envision yourself in a relationship where the first few dates are wonderful, but then the other person starts to withdraw. Running after them in an attempt to close that distance is our natural inclination. We've all been there. The Stoics, however, can help us in this regard. If something is beyond your control, the Stoics would wonder why you're trying to achieve it nevertheless. Your sense of self-worth, dignity, and tranquility within hold the key. Attempting to grab water while chasing after someone who is pulling away is futile. It does nothing and makes you feel nothing. The Stoic method, on the other hand, stresses the importance of being unwavering in your own value. Let go of somebody if they're pulling away from you. It has nothing to do with emotionlessness or coldness. The key is to understand that you have complete power over your own response, regardless of how other people act or feel. It's no secret that this isn't easy. It requires a lot of willpower to hold back the impulse to run after someone, but trusting that other people will demonstrate their affection is key. Refusing to let the actions of another person determine your value is what it means. I am worthy of respect, and if you fail to recognize it, someone else will. It's affirming. Everything is changed by this way of thinking. You regain control of the situation. No longer will you be impacted by the whims of another. What you do and how you feel are entirely up to you. In all honesty, it's liberating and empowering. And the worst part is this: terrific things happen when you put your focus on yourself, your life, and your growth rather than on pleasing other people. Your confidence, self-esteem, and strength make you an irresistible magnet to those who feel the same way. Saying things like, "I value myself and I'm aware of it," sounds like you're sending a message. Therefore, let us take this lesson to heart. We are never required to pursue somebody. Let us reiterate that. Let's be level-headed, respectful of ourselves, and focused on what we can control in our relationships. Instead of looking for approval from other people, we should focus on finding serenity within ourselves. Before we part ways for the day, there's something crucial that I want you to remember. In the grand tapestry of existence, your sense of self-worth serves as the shining thread that connects all aspects. Your reaction to external stimuli is entirely up to you, as the Stoics held. Maintaining your dignity and respect is entirely up to you. Tap into your resilience. Allow the incredible person you are to shine through in your choices, limitations, and deeds. Think back on this time and the Stoic advice we covered if you ever have self-doubt. There is more to life than merely getting through it. It's a chance to become older and wiser each day, to evolve. Were you interested in learning more after our conversation today? Check out the music we have playing on the screen. It's jam-packed with additional anecdotes, insights, and advice to help you face life's challenges with more knowledge and self-assurance. Feel free to click on it and continue on this trip with me. I appreciate you taking part in this discussion with me. No matter how difficult things become, know that you are never truly alone. Step by step, day by day, we're all making sense of it. Take care, remain wise, and keep embracing your inner Stoic till our next discussion.